Good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Acsom. Today, hosted by myself, Sean. Welcome back to the league season, and I'm joined today by the man from Japan, Liam Carrigan, wearing a nice yellow, stripy, bright Celtic jersey. You're a man of many jerseys, Liam. Talk us through your choice today.
Well, I thought I'd go for something a bit more conservative today. Nothing too flashy. So just the bright yellow and green today.
Right.
No, it was literally the first Celtic shirt I grabbed out the cupboard. So there you go.
Fair enough. You're looking well, Liam. Your diet must be going well. I'm sure some of you are tuning in, expecting to hear the dulcet tones of Paul John today, but he's down at Barra's Art and Design, doing a game day event. So if you're down there with him today, hope you have a great time. I'm afraid you're stuck with us too for today. Hopefully we manage to muster together some semblance of sense, and we can hopefully have a good, enjoyable opening weekend to the SPFL Premiership. Obviously, the big story this weekend was the team in blue only being able to muster a draw, but it is their first season back in the Premiership in several years, and it's their flag day as well, so it won't be too hard on Falkirk.
No.
Yeah, I think.
No, hang on a wee second. I'm just checking. No, still can't see the Rangers coming. No. Anyway, moving on.
But yeah, today's about us. Today's about Flag Day. What does Flag Day mean to you, Liam?
I just think it's a great chance to just to remind everybody that we are the champions, to enjoy it, to celebrate that fact, hopefully with some good football, but also it's a really good, we seem to do this thing every year now where we honour our past great by letting them unfurl the flag, and this year it's Paul McStay, and that's really good to see. He's down your way now, isn't he, Paul McStay? Lives there in Australia these days.
Yeah, he's in Sydney, yeah. I met Paul Lambert recently when he was in my state, and he was on his way to meet Paul McStay over in Sydney. I think he runs some soccer academies now and again. I don't think he does too much, actually, Paul. I think he's quite happy with the family life down here. But he's still relatively in touch with the Celtic community, even though he doesn't do too much.
No, it's good for him. It's recognition that's I don't think anyone would ever object to Paul McStay being offered a privilege like that after what he gave Celtic in his career,
The only ones we've got around these parts in Western Australia at the moment is Dixie Deans comes down the Supporters Club. That's always great. And Lee Griffiths, who doesn't really show his face at the Supporters Club, but he plays for Mandurah down our way. So that's the two that we get. But yeah, it's we're in the dead of winter here at the moment. I'm wearing Under Armour to do this podcast today. My throat's a bit sore because I was at the Fremantle game earlier, so I was having a good shout at the umpires in that game. It's not just football/soccer, as they say down here, where we shout out and complain about referees. And they've got 4 referees in the field, so 4 times the mistakes. And that's just 4 on the field, and then you've got 6 around the pitch as well. So 10 total officials for a game, which is a little bit different. Anyway, total digression. Shall we have a look at the lineup for today and have a little chat about it? Let's pull it up. There's the graphics we're getting this year, the nice new kit. I've actually not seen it in person yet. I've only seen it in pictures, so it'll be good to get a look at it when it comes to the Adidas stores down here, if it ever does. We've got Schmeichel in goals. No real surprise there. The only doubt for that would have been the fact that he was still recovering from injury, but he seems to be match fit. And I guess he did look relatively match fit in the preseason games that he played. Alistair Johnson, who had a late start to his preseason after being away with Canada. Carter Vickers, who had an operation but is deemed fit, so that'll be an interesting one. Scales beside him. And then when I was typing out the team on my notes sheet, I just sort of instinctively started typing Taylor. And then I was like, no, it's not Taylor. I've been doing this for so many years. And then it's Tierney. And the man is back. And Celtic did not miss a marketing opportunity in that one today. They had their welcome back to paradise on Kieran Tierney. And then Callum McGregor, the mainstay for the last 10 or so years in the midfield. Hatate and Nygren up there ahead of him. And then perhaps controversially and perhaps a talking point pre and post match, the front 3 of Yang, Maeda and Ida. Now, I think we can safely assume that Ida is the centre forward there, and we've got Maeda on the left wing. What jumps out at you is for your first comment there, Liam?
Well, it's good to see Nigren starting. Obviously, we like to look at him in pre-season, so it's good to see that he is part of that midfield three as we suspected. No slight on Engels, but just Nigren has looked better in pre-season, so he's starting. It's that simple. I think, and I don't mean to be harsh on the big man, but I think Adam Ida is lucky we haven't really seen much of Shin Yamada yet, because if he'd played 3 or 4 games and had looked half decent, I think he might have started today. But he's still finding his feet, and I think Ida needs a big performance today. And I really hope he gives us it. I hope he gets a few goals today. But I wouldn't be surprised if he has a game like he did last week. It could very well be him making way for Yamada after an hour or so.
Yeah, and I thought he did well against Newcastle. He doesn't get a goal, but I thought he moved well. He linked up well. Curiously, obviously Johnny Kenny does get a goal in that game, and he's on the bench today, along with some other names. Sinisalo Trusty, again, who was voted man of the match in the Newcastle game, but is not trusted to start today, ironically. McCowan, Shin, as you mentioned, on the bench, so hopefully we do get a look at him. What number is he wearing? I haven't actually checked that, is it?
I think it might be 18.
18? Yeah, I think that sounds right.
Yeah.
We've got Johnny Kenny on the bench as well, so we have 2 strikers on the bench, rarefied there. I suspect we might see Shin on the wing at some point, because the only other winger on the bench is James Forrest, who is pushing 34 now. I'm not 100% on his age there. Engels,
he was there about a month ago, if I remember right.
Yeah, I don't want to look at this as Engels has dropped. It's just Nigren is starting and being rewarded. I still think Engels is going to play a big role. I think when the Champions League rolls around, he might well be starting in terms of his physicality and things like that. But then when you're playing against St Mirren, what you kind of need is you need to be able to unlock those teams. And I wonder, I haven't seen enough of Nigren yet to really offer too much judgment. In pre-season is always going to be a very tempered judgment as well. It's not a competitive game, but do you think that's part of the reason why Nigren's preferred to Engels, or you think it's just down to pre-season performance? Do you think it's down to the opposition as well, potentially?
I think it's maybe a few different factors, but I think the main one is just that we are going to see a slightly different setup today at Celtic. I think you're going to have Hatate and McGregor sitting that wee bit deeper, and Nigren up playing, kind of just off the striker. I think almost in that sort of what you might call the number 10 role. And I think that is hopefully going to give us the kind of returns in time that we got with Matt O'Reilly a couple of years ago. I think that's the hope, is that he is the Matt O'Reilly replacement. And unfortunately, you're never dropping Callum McGregor, so the other defensive midfielder has to be sacrificed, which is Engels. So,
yeah, that was the name that came to my mind as well. Obviously, no 2 players are the same, but Nigren in the games that we have seen looked to me a bit more like he was playing in the same style as Matt O'Reilly versus Engels. And the thing is, I like Engels a lot, and I think he does a lot of good defensive work as well. But again, I don't know that's what we're calling for today. I'll pull up the St Mirren line, and you can have a look. It's surprisingly consistent for a mid-table. No disrespect, hopefully, because I do like St Mirren, but surprisingly consistent for a Premiership team. They tend to have a bit more turnover in the summers, to my mind anyway. They've got Marcus Fraser, who's been there for a long time. Gogic. So those two, they'll be tough to break down in defence. Calvin Phillips, probably good for a yellow card. Calvin, is his name? I can't remember. Phillips, the boy who plays in midfield. Phillips. O'Hara, captain's been there for a while. He's a goal threat. Mandron, again, big physical striker. Something that St Mirren are always been known for. So I think there'll be no real. I suspect, and you can chime in here, Liam, that there won't be too many surprises to the way St Mirren play. They'll probably allow us to get our fullbacks forward. They'll probably allow us the freedom of the wing, and they'll really congest that box and try and play direct to 2 big boys up front and try and create one-on-one contests between Mandron and Scales or whoever. I don't know that they'll go too direct against Carter Vickers, but that tends to be what we've seen from St Mirren in the past.
I mean, I've I did a blog yesterday with my sort of predictions for the season, and I picked out that I thought St Mirren would surprise people by finishing, in the top 6. I don't know if that's even a surprise anymore because they are consistently sort of mid-table, but I think that they've got a good, well-organised team and they know how to get results. I mean, they took a draw off us in the last game of the season last year. All right, you can make different allowances for it being the last game of the season, whatever, the league already being won, but it still takes character for a team to come to Celtic Park and do that,
Well, what they did that day as well is they created the blueprint that Aberdeen copied in the cup final, which was a bit more damaging of a draw than.
Yeah, there is that.
Because we had Aberdeen's number in every previous encounter that season, and then including like in the post split, and when we went to Pittodrie and scudded them 5-1. But then St Mirren come to Celtic Park, put on a blueprint for how to frustrate us, and then Jimmy Tilleen's copying it a week later, and we end up unfortunately losing the treble because of that. So I don't know. I don't think anyone in the Celtic team will have revenge in mind. I don't even know that the fans will be thinking that much either, because as you said, that 1-1 game didn't have any too much direct impact. So I think it's just a fresh start. I think today's about flag. I think it's going to be. Yeah, I don't know that there's too much spice on top of it, other than this is the first game of the season and it's been a while.
I just think there's a bit of tension in that they knew with what the manager said in his press conference the other day, and obviously there's also a wee bit added pressure because of the results yesterday to get ahead early in the title race. And I think if we can just go out and win this game comfortably today, I just think it would ease a lot of the current anxiety that's going through the support. I wouldn't say panic or anything like that, because I think that, even if we didn't sign a single player from now until the window shuts, I still think we'd have enough to win the league, right? We'd get horsed in Europe, but I think we would still have enough to win the league. But, we are going to sign a couple more players, I think. And I really think that just a good solid win today, even if it's only like, 2-0 or something, that would be enough to just calm everybody down. And then next week, the people in the background can get to work on sorting out some actual deals for players.
On that subject, I'll just pull up a couple of comments. We've got Green for Goal, who's a bit despondent about Scales, Yang and Ida. It's like we're starting with 8 men. I think that's a little bit harsh.
That's a bit harsh.
But then not too much further down, we've got 573 versus 13, saying, again, specifically picking out Scales and Yang. Any problem with Scales and Yang today, Liam? Any thoughts?
Look, I'm a Yang defender. I think there's definitely a player in there somewhere, but he needs to be more consistent. But isn't that always the case with wingers? Is inconsistencies usually their undoing? Scales is a big, wholehearted, leave it all on the park kind of guy, and sometimes you need that. I think the fact that he starts today shows that Trusty, for all he had a great game against Newcastle, he hasn't proven yet to the manager that he is up to it physically, and we know Scales is. I think Trusty's a better player, but against a team like St Mirren, you're probably looking for more of a physical edge, and I think Scales gives you
that. And do you think there's anything? Remember when Trusty, you're talking about Trusty started in that cup final, and then Scales comes on at halftime. So I wonder if Scales is in for his ball playing ability as well as ahead of the physicality. And then I don't know. It's weird, right? I'm confused because Trusty did seem to get a really good run at it in pre-season. So I do wonder if there's like, I don't know what's Brendan Rodgers is thinking about it, to be honest. Ewan Boy Martin is in the Yang gang apparently. He's saying Yang hat trick.
Would love to see it.
Yeah. A lot of other comments about Maeda playing on the wing. So Kieran here saying, did Maeda come out and say he wanted to play winger? What do you reckon, Liam? You got any inside knowledge on that one?
No, he never would, because he's a player and he knows his place, which is do what the manager tells you. That's, the joys of being brought up in a hierarchical society like Japan. No, look, Dyson is a product, or he is like the exemplary product of the Japanese football system. Supremely fit, fast, agile, but also able to play multiple positions and willing to do so for the benefit of the team. Dyson will play wherever he's told to play because it's about the team, it's not about him. And that's something that we can debate about the ability of our Japanese players. Are the likes of Inamura and Yamada going to prove to be good enough for Celtic? Remains to be seen. But one thing you can say for sure is they will play for the benefit of the team. Always. That is something that is drilled into players here from a very, very young age.
Yeah, and it's a different system in Japan, isn't it, with the university thing, and they start relatively late, so we don't actually see too many of them coming over under 21, so it's really hard to actually get a gauge on them until they are in that 22, 23 range. I do hope personally to see Yamada at some point today, but I think you could almost pick this. Tell me if I'm wrong here. I reckon you can pick the stadium man of the match right now. I reckon forever and ever Celtic here might have it.
Yes.
KT, welcome home, son. Celtic through and through. Do you think Kieran Tierney is already stuck on for man of the match today?
Yeah, it's the stadium man of the match, and having worked at Celtic Park, I have a wee bit of insight into this. It's whoever the sponsors want to meet today. So if they want to meet Kieran Tierney, they're going to meet Kieran Tierney. I saw a game years ago where Larsson had one of his worst ever games for Celtic, barely touched the ball, and he still got man of the match. Why didn't the sponsors want to meet Henrik Larsson? So that was it.
Yeah, I agree. And what was it, Moravchik as well used to get to be fair, like, I don't know, man, like I think it's at one point I've seen them doing kind of surveys on Twitter where they would put like 4 names and you had to vote. And then I think it was, I always tried to vote in it and it was always gone before I could even get near it. I think it was up for a whole 30 seconds and then they would kind of decide it from that. But to be fair, in recent times, they've not been too wide of a mark. Tends to just be whoever scored 2 goals gets it, or et cetera. But yeah, I think unless someone scores a hat-trick today, I think Tierney's name will be up there.
Yeah.
So let's just bring it up again. Alistair Johnson, do we expect him to be looking fit today or after his extended rest, or do you think he'll still be working his way back to match sharpness?
I would expect, unless there's, a specific tactical reason for it, I would expect him to get hooked after an hour for Ralston, because I don't think he's up to a full 90 minutes quite yet. I think that, I can't remember if it was Brendan Rodgers or somebody else at Celtic said in pre-season that they like players to have about 10 days of full training under their belt before they put them into like a match environment. And Johnson is only just barely over that at the moment. So I think he and Carter Vickers both could be getting subbed, in the second half if we are ahead and comfortable.
And it looks like we're seeing some pictures from Sky Sports. It looks like a sunny day. How many empty seats are you expecting to see today? Is this something that we need to really, because it's only 12 minutes till kickoff as far as I can tell, and it's looking still a little bit sparse out there. Do you think this is something Celtic really need to focus on? I think I seen a report that we had something like between Celtic and any other teams in Glasgow that have a lot of empty seats, that there's something like 12,000 empty seats on match day on average last year. Is this becoming exigent? Is this becoming a real issue? Is this symbolic of the board's just disconnection from fans? Literally locking fans out.
It's made all the more frustrating. I don't know about yourself, but the last 4 times I've been in Scotland, I wanted to go to a Celtic game, and I physically couldn't because I couldn't get a ticket. And yet you watch the game on the telly, and there's hundreds of empty seats. It's infuriating. There needs to be some sort of ticket resale system. I think Liverpool have got, is it the exchange they call it? That's a pretty good system where season ticket holders can resell their match ticket and they get a bit of money back, and it keeps touts out of the business as well, because there's nothing worse than people jacking up the prices for things like that. I really think it should be, there has to be a process for that, because we don't want empty seats at Celtic games, and there shouldn't be when there's 15,000 people on the waiting list.
Apparently they do, Liam. That's because they're not bringing it in. All these games that they sell out in they don't. As far as I can tell, it's easy to do. It's easy to bring this in. I think Hibs and Hearts and Aberdeen have all got it. The Fremantle Dockers down here have it. I've got a membership here, and I get a text message. If we're selling a lot of tickets, I get a text message. Hey Sean, can you make the game this weekend? If not, consider putting your ticket up for sale. We'll give you money off your membership next year. So they're even proactive about it. I mean, speaking of that as well, I get, whenever I've been to a game, like maybe 50% of the time, I get asked to fill in a survey about my match experience. Imagine Celtic doing that. There'd be like the Royal Infirmary would be overflowing with people having a stroke from like the absolute change of pace. Celtic engaging with fans. Remember that fan survey we had like a year and a half ago? I think they've just filed it under Gordon Strachan's review of the match, the football infrastructure, just hidden in a drawer somewhere, but never to be heard of again.
Gathering dust in a cabinet somewhere, along with that promised investigation into Police Scotland.
And look, you can put them in beside Sky Sports as well, who've got us playing 4:30 on a Sunday. So, oh yeah, there's no English teams on this weekend. Let's just stretch out all these Scottish games. What did we have? El Plastico yesterday, Kilmarnock versus Livingston. What a showpiece game. And now we've got the Flag Day on a Sunday evening. Not the first game of the weekend, nor even the last game of the weekend. Can you make any sense of that one, Leo?
I mean, if they had to, could they not have just made it 12:30 yesterday afternoon? I mean, if it has to be like a TV kickoff time, which obviously it has to be, could they not just make it this? Or even, even if it had been like, like the Rangers game was yesterday. What was that? 5 o'clock kickoff, Scottish time, something like that. But it was still a Saturday. It was still the first day of the season. It's ridiculous that the champions are not playing on the first day of the season. It's stupid.
Yeah, it's wild. And where's our guard of honor? That sort of thing. But like, you're right. I'm glad Paul McStay is there. Glad he's doing it. But yeah, you do wonder about the alienation of fans. All these empty seats, kickoff times that are just madness. Season tickets where the prices just keep going up, you keep getting less. Sorry, I feel like I'm going on a rant and just being totally negative here. When what we're here to do is actually celebrate Flag Day, celebrate being champions again. What are we on now? 4 in a row, is that right? I've lost count. We keep winning them. But I think we've got 2 tifos today. Obviously, that's actually been a point of contention in the last week as well, is the relationship between the Ultras and the clubs generally, but Celtic specifically also. So hopefully that there's actually enough people in the stands today to make this tifo work. So I gather there's going to be a halftime as well. And just in case, I don't think anyone at the stadium's listening to us right now, but apparently the message is to keep a hold of the what's on your seat for the halftime tifo as well. So that should be interesting. A pre-match and a halftime tifo. I believe it's honouring the Lisbon Lions in some way. Anyone in comments want to help me on that one? With any specifics?
I'd heard the same thing. I don't want to go on a rant, but see the whole thing with the club and their suspended ban of the Green Brigade and all that. It's like, guys, read the room. Just read the room. Like, we get it. You don't like the Green Brigade. You don't like their politics. You wish they weren't there, right? I get that. That's the Celtic board's position. I think we all know that, right? But at a time when people are uptight because we're not signing enough players and we're getting hit with merch drops every day, it's like, guys, just read the room. Don't make more trouble for yourself when there's absolutely no need to,
Yeah. And then I think I read a report lately that the Asian contingent of Premier League fans were saying that they feel commodified by the English Premier League as supporters, that they don't feel valued as supporters. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Those of us that are even closer feel the same. So yeah, not saying you're wrong, just we all feel that way. Maybe we'll get some value. I don't know. It looks good right now. It's filled up nicely, I will say. I'm just looking at them doing You'll Never Walk Alone right now. And it does look pretty full today, so that's good. Nice sunny day, Flag Day, a lot of people out, so pretty happy with that. How do you think the game's going to go once it kicks off, Liam? How do you expect things to play out?
I think we'll start aggressively. I think we'll start early. I think we could score within the first 15 minutes. I think I think we'll be coming back here at half-time and Celtic will be at least a couple of goals ahead.
Mm-hmm. That'd be nice. So who do you reckon? Give me a score prediction. Let's see some in the comments as well. Give me a score prediction, Liam, and who do you think is going to give us some goal shouts as well?
Right. Okay. We're going to win. Ultimately, we're going to win 3-0. Mirren is going to score the first goal, and it's going to be a shot from outside the box.
I seen some shouts earlier for who's taking penalties if we get one.
Oh, aye, that's a good question.
With Arnie Pengels on the bench, I'm not sure.
Aye, that's. I mean, Hatate would be the obvious one, but his last penalty wasn't exactly convincing.
He puts them very close to the post for my liking, and sometimes it hits them.
Aye.
It hits the post, which is what I'm not a fan of. My personal feeling is I'm never confident of a big win against St Mirren. The only times I can remember us winning comfortably against St Mirren is when they've had a man sent off. I will say they are just lining up to do a guard of honor right now, so fair play. I actually don't like it, to be honest. I like the respect, but I don't like it. I don't think it's necessary.
See,
to be honest,
my position on that, right, and particularly in terms of like, should we do it for Rangers or should they do it for us, right? I actually think, see, if you're the manager of the team that's losing, I think, yeah, make the players do that. Make them feel the hurt, make them feel the embarrassment, and say, like, don't let this happen next season. I would use it as a motivator, you know?
Yeah, and look, I think you can do that without the performative action, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
Probably.
Let's pull out some predictions from the comments here. Green for goal, pessimistic 1-1. Paul McLean, I think I'm actually with you, Paul, on this one. I think Celtic win 2-1. JJ Celtic saying 3-1. Donny Tiny Hands can't start slowly. We would hope not. After a big long rest. Derek Rurik 4-0. Same with Stevie Boy. 3 Maida hat trick from Seafits. So that'd be interesting off the wing. And Lupe 33 saying Ida for him on the win. 3-1 Negrin man in match, JJ. Well, I think we've already called Tierney's man in match, but yeah. It could go anyway. See Paul McStay's leading the way out just now. He's got his suit and tie on. He's looking sharp. Lots of cheers going on.
Is there a buzz about the place then? Huh?
It looks like it, yeah. They've already done the walk-up. Some people in the comments complaining that Celtic TV didn't do much build-up, so hopefully they've switched on now. But the TIFO's certainly not started yet, so I guess we're going to be in for a delayed kickoff, to be honest. We've not mentioned any of the officials yet. Eddie Quigley here. Don Robertson is a worry. He's a terrible ref. Any worry for you, Liam?
I think Jockstein said it best that the referee shouldn't matter. We should be good enough that it doesn't matter who the referee is or whatever the quote is. But yeah, are there any Scottish refs that we're 100% confident in? Probably not.
Nah. Are there any air traffic controllers we're confident in? Yeah, it's maybe they can land a plane instead of calling an offside, because they don't do a very good job of the offsides. And there's a lot more runway for a plane. They've got the pyro on out there as well.
Sounds like the plot of a disaster movie in the making here. When you get the script book out.
Well, this is the first game of 38 on our way to hopefully 5 in a row. We've got some big games coming up with European football, not just league games. Then we've got Falkirk in the Cup. So this is at the start of August. It's good to not be playing in July, even though sometimes those European qualifiers are kind of a lot like pre-season friendlies in a sense when you're playing the smaller teams. But it's part of our stature is that we don't have to start till August. Well, every other team in Scotland has already started in July, whether that's the League Cup or not. So I think, is that right? Are we of the professional teams, we're the final one to play a game of competitive football? Oh, here it is. The champions have arrived. We're getting started on another season. Paul McStay has raised the flag, and the crowd is going wild. So we'll let everyone get to the coverage just now, and hopefully see you at halftime for some positive chat about how the game has gone so far.
Enjoy the game, everyone. Hail, hail.
See you halftime. Hail, hail.